Hello students, so welcome back to the channel. In this video we are going to study about the PGR, which are also known as plant growth regulators, and we are going to discuss in detail about only one PGR, that is auxin, in this video. Okay, though there are 5 types of the phytohormones, but in detail we will be studying only one, that is auxin. So first of all, what are PGRs? You know very well, they are actually small organic compound, very simple organic compound which are required in very low concentration, and they can have different chemical compositions. Now see, these are the 5 types of hormones. First is your auxin, okay, indole 3 acetic acid or indole 3 butyric acid. They are nothing, they are indole compounds. Second is gibberellic acid, which is terpenes. Third is your cytokinin, also known as kinetin or N6 furfuryl aminopurine. Purine, you can understand simple, it is actually adenine also. So they are adenine derivatives. Ethylene is the only one which is gaseous, and abscisic acid is derivative of carotenoids. So these are the types of 5 hormones, phytohormones, and their compositions. This is from your line of NCERT. I've made it in the table form to make you learn easily. I hope you will be finding this topic easy. Okay, now let us see how we will classify the different types of phytohormones. So we are classifying these PGRs based on the function, what they perform. Are they growth promoters or are they growth inhibitors? So we are making 2 groups. In growth promoters, auxin, cytokinin, and gibberellic acid will be coming. Okay. And what are the growth promoter activities? You can understand, like cell division, they should do the cell division, then cell elongation, then they should help in the formation of fruit, seed development, all this work they should do. If they are doing all this work, then we say these hormones are growth promoters. And inhibitors, strictly inhibitors, is only one, that is the abscisic acid. And the inhibitor activities, you can say it is generally wound and stress condition. Wound and stress because of biotic or abiotic, due to biotic origin or abiotic origin. So you can understand this way. See, generally, biotic agent means your pathogens, virus, bacteria, fungus. If they are creating a damage in the plant, obviously wound is created. In such conditions, abscisic acid will come and play a role to save the plant. Or abiotic factors, it might be because of the wind, or it might be because of high temperature. The plant is going for the stress, means water loss is continuously going on. So in these conditions, the abscisic acid will come. Is it clear? Another time when the abscisic acid will come, it is another factor will be for the dormancy. Okay, it will come for dormancy, or it will come for the uh, as an abscisic acid will an abscission. Okay, so another it is coming for abscission. Abscission means to shed off the old part of the plants, just like old leaves, old branch. They, when they are shedding off, then they make a layer that is known as abscission. But one phytohormone, ethylene, is important. Try to understand. Ethylene, which is a gaseous hormone, actually it can fit in both categories. It can fit as promoter also, it can fit as inhibitor also. Okay, it can fit both categories, but we generally prefer it as a promoter. But generally it is used as promoter. Clear? I hope up till here topic is clear. Ki these PGRs are, how many types of PGRs are there? We have studied 5 types of PGRs. What is their compositions and how we are classifying these PGRs into different categories. Now let us study auxin in detail. So now we are studying auxin in detail. So first of all, this term auxin is which origin? It is Greek word. It is taken from auxin, which means to grow. Now, from where it is isolated, it was first isolated from human urine, but one scientist, that is F.W. Wendt, okay, please focus, this is F.W. Wendt, who has isolated from the coleoptile of oat seedling. Okay, he has isolated from the coleoptile of oat seedling. Its precursor means it is made from it. How can you make it? To make it, you want the help of one amino acid that is known as tryptophan. The tryptophan is an amino acid. Its precursor is tryptophan, and the mineral which is required for its development, that mineral is zinc. Okay, so these are the things for the auxin. Now, where does it occur? It will be produced by the growing apex of stem and root. Means shoot apex as well as root apex, they both will produce auxin. And the movement, it is showing polar transport, means it is moving from the tip to the base. We will say it is showing basipetal movement, means it will show polar transport. It will be produced by the apex and it will be moving down. So we say basipetal. Now, auxin is of two types. If they are naturally, means plant is making it, then we observe two types are there, indole 3 acetic acid or indole 3 butyric acid. Synthetic auxin is the one which we have made it. For example, naphthalene acetic acid or 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. So these are the important information with respect to auxins. Now let us see the discovery of auxin. To understand, for discovery, the first work was done by the scientist, that was Charles Darwin and his son Francis Darwin. Okay, the first contribution came by this fellow, and they were working on coleoptile of canary grass. So the Charles Darwin and his son Francis Darwin, they were working on experimental material. So experimental material was coleoptile of canary grass. Okay, now try to understand it. See, when the seed germinate, so this is a plumule and this is radicle. Okay, so this part which is going to give rise to plumule is known as coleoptile, which is going to give rise to plumule. Clear? So what they observed, when this is a coleoptile, let I'm drawing this way now. When the light is coming, means light direction is this way, okay? This is unilateral light, means light is coming from this direction. Then the observation is keep plant is bending towards the source of the light. So plant is bending towards the source of the light. Now for second, what they have done, they have cut the tip. Tip is cut. This tip is removed, okay? This tip is removed and the light is falling. Then they are finding no bending is occurring. Bending is not occurring. Bending will not occur. When the tip is cut, that time bending is not occurring. So this is tip cut and this is tip is intact. Understood the two steps? Now in the second step, what is going on? Tip is not cut, but the tip is covered by one aluminium foil. Let us assume this is an aluminium foil which is covering the tip. And again the light is falling. Then we are finding that the bending is not occurring. So they observe that something is produced by the tip and as a result, bending is occurring if the tip is exposed properly. If you cut, the bending is not occurring. If you cover the tip with the aluminum foil, then bending is not occurring. Okay. So here I am putting a tick mark, means bending is occurring, no bending. And here also I'll write it. Tip is covered with the then what we are finding, there is no bending is going on. So first of all, this work was done by the Charles Darwin and Francis Darwin. Now the second scientist was Boyce Jensen and his experimental material was coleoptile of oat. He was working on coleoptile of oat seedling. And what he observed, if decapitation is done and again kept back, means first this plant coleoptile was decapitated. Okay, this is decapitation is done and again if we put this decapitated back, again we are putting this cap back. Are you getting this diagram? Okay, So again, the cap is kept back. We are keeping the kept back. And now we are putting the light. Okay. Let us assume we are giving again the unilateral illumination. Then we are finding bending is occurring. Okay. The bending will occur. Bending occur. From this he got an idea. It means something is produced by the tip which is diffusing down and it is responsible for bending. Clear? Now again what they have done, by keeping the cap again back, in between they inserted one mica plate. This is one mica plate they have inserted before keeping this back. Okay, before keeping. So to their surprise, they are observing that bending is not occurring even though the light is given to them. Unilateral illumination is going on after the insertion of this mica plate, and what they found, there is no bending occurring. It means something is going down diffusing which is not now able to diffuse properly because the mica plate is inserted in between. So we will say bending is not occurring. Bending does not occur. But now what they are doing in the third experiment, they are again keeping the tip back, but after putting one gelatin here. This is a gelatin covering they are putting it. And now they are putting the cap back again. Okay, so in between the gelatin is present and now they are keeping the cap. So to their surprise, what they observed when it was unilateral illumination is done, yes, bending is occurring. Okay, so bending was occurring. So that it means something is able to diffuse through the gelatin substance. So it is bending is resulting. So they got an idea that it means tip is producing something and which is going down to cause the bending. Third scientist Paul, what he has done, he was keeping the cap back, but he was not keeping it on entire properly. He's keeping on the shaded side. Let us assume this is the way how he's keeping the cap back. Okay, this cap is kept back on the half side, not full side. Okay, and the light is coming here. So this is the illuminated area and this is the shaded area. And what you observed, after the cap is kept not properly in the center, it is actually a little bit shifted away from the position, then also bending is occurring. This indicate कि yes, something is produced and it is moving down from the shaded side. It is moving down from the shaded side. So something which is produced by the tip and it is moving down from the shaded side and is responsible for the bending. Okay, so this was the one work done by the Paul. The final proof कि yes, coleoptile of the oat seedling is producing, tip is producing the auxin was performed by F.W. Wendt. He is the one who has finally got a proof that yes, tip is producing the auxin and it is going down. How he has done it, see, this is the coleoptile of oat. He cut this tip, okay, and he kept this on the agar block. Let us assume this is the agar block. Agar, you know very well, it is obtained from the red algae. So he kept this on the agar block. This tip is kept there. So many tips are kept. Let us assume this is one tip. Right now I'm drawing it. So other plants, different tips are there. And after some time, leaving after some time, now on this cut part, okay, on this cut part, he's not keeping this tip. He's keeping a piece of agar block. So I'm using this color for the piece of agar block. He's keeping the piece of the agar block. Okay. Agar block is kept after the tip is kept there in this area. See here, I've kept the tip now. Now we'll cut this part. This part of the agar block is cut and is kept here. After and now we will give the light. This is the unilateral light is given. And to his surprise, bending was observed. Bending was observed. So from this he told it means tip is producing something which can diffuse down, because now agar is able to bring the bending. Na? Agar block is able to bring the bending. So how the agar block is able to bring the bending? It means the chemical is diffusible in nature, and chemical is diffusing and it is causing the bending. The final conclusion is coming from the FW Wendt experiment. That is why we say who has isolated the auxin. Isolation of the auxin was done by FW Wendt because he isolated it. He has taken out this auxin on the agar block. Is it clear? He has removed the auxin in the agar block. That is why we say ki isolation was done by FW Wendt. I hope this experiment topic is easy for you. I hope this you have learned it. Now let us study what are the physiological functions of auxin. First function is it is responsible for cell elongation. It is responsible for cell elongation. Till now, in all the experiments, what we have understood, ki when the tip is given a unilateral illumination, means light is coming only from one side. Then the tip is producing some chemical which is diffusing down. Let us assume the tip is producing the chemical auxin, okay, and this auxin is diffusing down from the shaded side more. So more shading side diffusion is going on. As a result, this side, the cell wall become loose. And when the cell wall become loose, obviously elongation will be more on this side as compared to the light side. And as a result, bending is occurring. The bending is occurring because of the cell elongation. And cell elongation is because of the auxin which is making the wall loose. So this side is more growth. Understood? And this side is which side? It is a shaded side. So we have learned first thing ki it is responsible for cell elongation. Second function of the auxin is, second function, it will help in the cell division. And we are using this property in tissue culture technique. In tissue culture technique, we are using the auxin along with cytokinin because it promotes cell division also. Now, third function, if you see it is produced by the tip and it will allow only tip to grow. Means it is responsible for apical dominance. Apical dominance means it will allow only tip to grow. Means only apex to grow. As a result, lateral branches cannot grow. Allows only apex to grow. And thus lateral branches cannot grow. This is very important concept, please. Okay. Now, if you know very well, in tea plantation means you want more and more tea leaves. If you want more and more tea leaves, it means more and more branches should be there. If you want more and more branches, then what the gardeners will do, they will remove the tip. So decapitation is done. So decapitation means you are removing the cap. So decapitation is done by the gardeners to make the bushy appearance, for bushy appearance as well as for tea plantation. Okay, for bushy appearance as well as for tea plantation. This concept is clear. Let me revise once again. Apical dominance means only tip is allowed to grow and the lateral branches will not be able to grow. And we have understood this phenomena, and if we want lateral branches to grow, then it means we should remove the tip. And when we are doing decapitation, lateral branches are growing it. So that phenomena gardeners are using to make the bushy appearance, and they are to increase the tea plantations. Is it clear? Now, next physiological function. Now, auxin promote flowering also. For example, we have seen the increase in the flower in pineapple. In case of pineapple, we are finding they are showing an increase in the flowering. Now, they prevent, again, this is again important concept, they prevent abscission of young part. of young part of the plant, means young fruits, flowers, or whatever it is, they will not allow the abscission. So they prevent abscission of young fruit or flowers, but promote abscission of old. But promote abscission of old part. Is it clear? Now, if you see, they are also responsible for parthenocarpy. Parthenocarpy means seedless fruit. And we are using this in the example in tomatoes. We are using in tomatoes. They can be also used as herbicides. Herbicides means they will kill the herbs also. Example 2,4-D, 2,4-dichlorophenolic acid, which is your synthetic auxin, is used to kill dicot weed in monocot crop. Okay, cereal crop is monocot. In monocot crop, if suppose weed is dicot, then we can use 2,4-D. I hope up till here you are understanding. Now I have to focus one important point. Before this, let me just. Now next topic is bioassay for auxin. The bioassay means you are checking how much concentration. To check how much concentration of chemical substance is required. If you are checking how much concentration of chemical substance is required to produce desired response. Then we say we are doing bioassay. Okay. So bioassay for auxin is, first test is your Avena curvature test. Avena means oat, okay, which we have already done 2-3 times. You cut the tip, bending will not occur, but you put the cap back, bending will occur. With the gelatin, bending will occur, but with mica plate, bending will not occur. So Avena curvature test. Second is root growth inhibition test. Now here I want to just emphasize very important, please. One of the physiological function of auxin, which I have not explained earlier, now I'm saying one of the most important physiological function of auxin is initiate rooting in stem cutting. Initiate rooting in stem cutting. This is line of your NCERT given on the page number 248 in stem cutting. And because of this only, we are using auxin in agriculture as well as in horticulture practice. Okay, because we understood that it can be used for initiating rooting in the stem cutting, so we are using it for tissue culture technique also. Now, one side we are saying it initiates rooting in the stem cutting, and second side we say it is root growth inhibition. Means one side we say it is initiating root, means it is trying to develop the root, means, and second we are saying it is not allowing the root growth. To now understand difference. See, beta, auxin allows root initiation. Okay, it will allow root initiation, but does not allow root growth. Both are different. Coming out of root means initiation. Okay, and after initiation, then root growth is different term. So it will allow root initiation, and which type of root it will be allowing? Adventitious root. But it does not allow root growth. Now, try to understand. Let us assume this is your seedling, which I'm keeping in this condition, okay? This way. This is actual my plumule. I've kept it horizontally, making it free from the effect of gravity right now. And this is radical. Now we are giving the light. This side also I'm giving the light, and even this side also I'm giving the light. Understood? Now you know very well oxygen will be accumulating towards the shade side. So this side oxygen will be accumulating. Here also oxygen will accumulate in the shade side. In case of the stem, high oxygen means more elongation here. So what I will observe the change, see carefully. Change will be observed this way. Understood the diagram? कि high concentration of oxygen is causing the bending, responsible for cell elongation. But in case of the root side, check carefully, high concentration of oxygen is not allowing the growth. It is the less concentration of oxygen is growing more. That is why this is the responsible for geotropic movement. Root are positive geotropic because of this reason only, they do not allow high concentration of oxygen does not allow root growth. Is it clear? But high concentration of oxygen allow shoot growth. So let me write here, high concentration promotes growth of shoot, okay? But high concentration of oxygen does not promote growth. And this work was done by Wendt, but along with another scientist. So this is known as Kolodny-Wendt theory. This is in your PMT questions. This is actually question they are asking it. This Wendt theory, which proves that yes, high concentration of oxygen will not promote growth in the root area, but it will promote in the shoot area. Okay, so now let me give you the summary for what we have discussed today. Now see, this is the mind map for what we have discussed today with respect to auxin. So its occurrence is in the root apex and shoot apex. Types of auxins are natural, for example, IAA and IPA. Synthetic, for example, NAA and 2,4-D. Its functions are apical dominance, cell division and enlargement. It is also responsible for xylem differentiation. Okay, this is again line of NCERT, and abscission. And we are using for rooting purpose, we are using for flowering in pineapple, parthenocarpy in tomato, and to kill the weeds, we are using 2,4-D. Is it clear? So I hope this topic is clear to you. Thanks for watching.